Hi everyone, it's Mrs. Fondre here today, and we are going to be talking about how to make your own paint at home. Now, if you already have your own paint, that's excellent, awesome. Use it, it's meant for painting. However, if you are looking to maybe do something at home or you don't want to run up to the store to find some more paint, here's an option for you. I did a lot of research trying to figure out and find a recipe I liked the most because it's kind of like a baking recipe, again, kind of like clay that we did earlier. So what I decided after looking over many videos is my favorite option right now is the classic flour and water. Now, we want to use flour to make it a little thicker, like a normal tempera paint that we use in the classroom. However, if you want to do a watercolor project, all you really would need is water and food coloring. Food coloring is the one thing you may need to go get because we kind of need color for paint. A white paint on white paper usually doesn't work out too well. So what you're going to do, again, you're going to get your flour, and you're going to want to have a few separate cups to mix up different colors. I happen to have this really weird cheese tray, if I can move my camera down here. I have this cheese tray that I had in my classroom, so I'm going to use that. All right. Now, this one is more about kind of feeling what's right for you. You don't want to use too much water because you don't want it to be too gooey-looey, but you don't want to use too much flour, otherwise it gets more like a dough. So we're going to have to do a nice little balance here of kind of just feeling what is right for you and for paint. So I'm just going to take a little scoop of flour and put it in each of my spots that I have, because I'm going to mix up a few different colors today for this project. All right, so I just put a little bit on the bottom of each cup, and I'm going to add a tiny bit of water. And again, it's kind of finding that good balancing act. I'm just going to do one at a time and just worry about mixing up the one I'm on. Okay. Like I said, you want this to be kind of a thicker, kind of a paste versus really watery, because right now I probably have too much water, so I'm going to add a little bit more flour. And it's kind of going to be this gentle balance of going back and forth and kind of finding the right consistency for you. I got it. I got what I wanted. I have this nice kind of lightly gooey, still pretty watery consistency in here. And as you can see from the video, when I fast forwarded, I jumped around a lot, and that's okay. It helped to kind of even it out and get the consistency that I wanted. Now, I'm really lucky at school, and I actually have some watercolor that is in a liquid form that's kind of like food coloring already. So the colors that I needed, or what you'll probably need, are at least the primary colors. This is something we talk about in school all the time. So you're going to need red, you're going to need blue, and you're going to need yellow. Because with those colors, you get everything out, all right? So you really only need a dot or two of each color. And it's nice to get the ones in the grocery store because they're in those little containers and they're very, very easy to control. These are kind of big bottles, so we'll see how well I do with pouring this, all right? So just to kind of show you what those secondary colors look like, I'm going to mix those up. So the first secondary color I'm going to do is orange. So I'm going to do one dot of red, and I'm going to do one dot of, you guessed it, yellow. Boop. And you're going to take your spoon and you're going to mix it up. Okay? And the awesome thing about making your own colors is you can really tweak it to fit what you want. So while I'm mixing this, on the camera it looks pretty orange right now, but in my eyes, as I'm sitting above it, it's a little bit too red. So I'm going to add another drop of yellow to make it a little bit more orange. Yellow is one of those colors that gets changed right away when you add any other color to it. So you usually end up using a little bit more yellow than anything else when you're mixing these colors up. All right, that's looking more like orange. All right, you do want to use a clean spoon when you're mixing colors, because if you get your orange into your other colors, it's going to turn into this brownish color, which we probably don't need right away. So I'm going to clean that off my cup of water that I have. And next, I'm going to make green. Now, if you remember from your elementary school days, and my students, you should remember this from last year, you just need a little bit of blue. And you're going to need, again, a little bit more yellow. Okay, so while you're mixing these up, It's also a really great time to review your colors. All right, you can see this is looking like a really nice dark green right now. Be great for making flowers or whatever you're working on. Okay. And your last one that we're going to do, our last secondary color, is violet or purple. I knew you would guess it. So I'm going to do maybe a drop or two of blue and a drop or two of red. Now, you'll notice when you make up your violet color, it's going to look really dark, okay? An actual violet or an actual purple color usually is much darker than what you expect when you see a marker, because that has more water and usually looks a little bit lighter. But when you mix up your own paint, it looks a lot darker than you'd think, all right? So once you have these colors mixed up, you're ready to paint. You're good. You got it. Depending on the project that we're doing, you might need more than this. So you'd be more than welcome to get maybe like a little Dixie cup or a Solo cup, or some disposable cup would probably be easiest, because when water and flour dry in a cup in clumps, it's kind of like this really hard, crusty rock kind of texture. But when you paint with it, and I have a little paintbrush here, I can show you what those kind of look like. It's really nice, that kind of a thicker kind of paint that we use in the classroom. So we have a paintbrush, and you can start seeing those colors, all right? These aren't as dark, or they're a little more transparent than the paint we use at school, but the color is there, and that's kind of the goal that we're going for, all right? Again, when you're switching colors, you're gonna wanna clean your brush in between, just so you keep those nice colors that you mixed up, all right? So, again, if you have any questions about this method of making your own paint, feel free to send me an email. I'll talk you through. Another fun idea that I stumbled across that I thought was pretty good was pudding paint, where instead of using flour and water and mixing in dye, you actually just buy those pre-made pudding cups that you have for snacks and drop the dye straight into there. It makes a really gooey, thick paint that's a little bit more opaque or a little more solid than this type of paint, but it'll be up to you to figure out what you like the most, all right? So again, any questions, comments, feel free to email me or give me a call. Happy painting!